Hey everyone, Kat here. We're going to get started in a couple minutes on the live masterclass, how to duplicate your listing with Facebook ads. I'm just going to hang out here for a couple minutes before we get started just to make sure that everything is working and we are good since this is my first YouTube broadcast live. So this is pretty fun, testing this out as a new webinar platform that is free. So if you're looking for a free webinar platform, consider using this option or message me after this and I can let you know about my experience and how it goes. Looks like we have a couple of viewers here, so I'm just gonna wait until like one more minute until we are, the official start time. So hopefully you guys are all having a beautiful morning, or I guess afternoon, depending on where you are at in the world. I'm located in Salt Lake City, so we're at almost 10 a.m. So let me just make sure this link is live and we are good, and we will kick this off. You just never know with technology. I've had so many times. Okay, yeah, we're live. Sweet. So let me just make sure this link is live. Okay, so I see a couple of you are here. I hope you're ready to learn about Facebook ads. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Kat Kobzeff. I'm the founder and owner of Copycat Consulting. It's a small boutique agency that focuses on helping real estate agents, brokers, really simplify, streamline, and organize their online marketing so that you guys can generate more leads and referrals. I know there's a ton of information out there about online marketing, whether it's social media or email marketing, and it can be overwhelming. Right? Am I the only one that thinks this? So I know it can be overwhelming. A lot of the information is conflicting, and some people will say, oh, you should be doing this on social media. Other people will say, no, you should be doing this. So it's like, it's a lot of clutter. I'm here to kind of help with that. I'm doing this live training because I really truly do believe in the power of online marketing and social media marketing, and I really want to help simplify it for you. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. It is doable. You can do this with a little bit of guidance. So that's what I'm here today to help you with. We're going to be talking about how to promote our listings specifically through Facebook, through Facebook ads. So there are a couple things you will need in order to really take this training and do something with it. So you're going to need a Facebook business page. We cannot advertise from our personal accounts, so you will need a Facebook business page if you want to take this strategy and put it into action, which hopefully you do. So you will need that. You'll also need an advertising account on Facebook. So you'll need to have that in place and set up so that you can run ads. So once you have those two things, you're pretty much good to go. The other thing you will need is a listing, because we're going to talk about how to promote our listing. So obviously you would need a listing to promote as well. So if you have all those things, you're good to go. I'm just going to real quick do an intro on why Facebook ads, why we're talking about this. And then once we get past that introduction, I'm going to share my screen with you so that you and I can walk through the process of actually creating this ad together so that you can see exactly how to do it, how to target. We're going to talk a lot, probably spend a good amount of time talking about targeting because that's really important when it comes to Facebook ads. And so yeah, we'll walk through that process together. That way you can see and kind of learn. If you're anything like me, you're a hands-on learner, and it's one thing to talk strategy, but then you go to sit down in front of your computer and you're like, wait a minute, what am I doing? So hopefully by me sharing my screen and walking through that process with you, it'll kind of eliminate that moment, and you won't get stuck when you're going to actually create the ad for yourself. So let's dive in. And if you guys do have questions, please type them into the chat and I will do my best to answer them at the end. I'm going to kind of leave some time for questions. So if you are stuck on anything that has to do with Facebook ads, all topics relating to Facebook ads, I will address and do my best to answer your questions. So why Facebook ads? So why should we be promoting our listings on Facebook ads or using Facebook ads? So some people will say, don't promote your listings on Facebook because people don't want to see them and it's spammy and it's too much. So I'm going to argue that that's not necessarily true. I think you should promote your listings on Facebook, but I don't think that's all you're showing on your Facebook page. If you're the type of person or the realtor that's just showing their listings on Facebook, then yeah, that's probably not a good practice. You need to have a more robust content strategy. I would say a good rule of thumb is 80% value driven. So posts that are helping your audience, are teaching them something about your community or about what you do, anything that they would find, true value in. So 80% of your content should be value, and 20% can be promotions, because we want people to know that, hey, like, I am a realtor, I am doing business in this area. What's the point of having Facebook if people don't know what you do? So I would say, definitely promote your listings, but also have a content plan in place to where you're sprinkling in additional content pieces and value. And when people come to your Facebook page, they're not just seeing you throw listings and promotion in their face the entire time, because that could definitely turn people off. So I like Facebook ads because, as you may know, if you have a business page, our reach is constantly on the decline. So, the team over at Facebook has decided that if you're going to have a business page, you're going to have to pay to play. You're going to have to pay to reach people. You've probably noticed that when you post things, a lot of times, your organic reach is very low, or nobody's interacting with your posts, and that's intentional. Facebook is a business. They want you to pay to reach your audience. So that's one reason why, if you have a business page, you do need to run ads in order for people to even see your content, which, what's the point of doing it and using Facebook if nobody's seeing it? Another reason, which you may or may not have seen an announcement on Facebook, I think today, they announced that they have reached the 2 billion active users a month. So that means literally a quarter of the entire population of the world is on Facebook on a monthly basis. We're not talking about just has a Facebook account, but these are active users that are on Facebook at least once a month. So that to me is insane. Like, that is so many people on Facebook. So if people say, oh, people are abandoning Facebook, they're not on Facebook anymore. No, they're on Facebook. Literally a quarter of the population is on Facebook. So your target demographic, if you're trying to reach people between like the 30 and the 60 age range, they're going to be on Facebook. And we need to have a plan and a strategy to reach these people in an effective manner that's, not costing us a ton of money, but is allowing us brand visibility and getting our business out there. So that's another reason. So specifically why I want to promote listings on Facebook is because it's going to help you with a couple things. It's going to help you obviously help you build a brand and increase your market presence, meaning people are going to see your ads, people in a certain location, because we're going to geo-target these ads, are going to see your ads, and they're going to start to associate your business with real estate in a select location. And that's what you want. You need to start building your brand presence and awareness. And that's going to, running these ads on Facebook is going to help you with that, because people are going to start to see, maybe they'll see an ad on Facebook, they'll see one of your for sale signs in a yard, and they're going to start to put two and two together. And you're going to really kind of stake your claim as a realtor in a certain location, which is great. Another thing it's going to help you with is your listing presentation. So you should be having, when you go on a listing presentation, you should have a go-to-market plan that's going to show this potential client, hey, here is all the ways that we're going to market your listing. Here's how we're going to bring it to the market. Here's everything that we're doing to earn that commission that you're going to pay us. So that's going to really help differentiate you from other people that maybe just show up at the listing appointment and they're like, yeah, we're going to put it on the MLS, and yeah, that's our plan. So you should show up with a complete, robust marketing plan that's going to say, hey, we're going to be promoting your listing on Facebook. We're going to be pushing it out to our email database of X amount of people. We have this great plan in place that's going to help ensure that we get this property sold for top dollar quickly. So those are all, different reasons why. That reason alone is reason enough to promote it on Facebook. But there are a lot of other side benefits. Every time I run this ad campaign, I get people inquiries, if you will, on the ad where people are saying like, hey, how much is this listing going for? Or a lot of times this ad campaign will also work for open houses. So you'll get people that show up to open houses because they saw something on Facebook. So all of those reasons are essentially why I encourage you guys to experiment with promoting your listings on Facebook. So let's jump into how we're going to do this. So how are we going to promote our listing? I don't know how familiar each of you are with Facebook ads, but there are essentially 3 different ways you can run ads on Facebook. So you can do a boosted post, or you can do a dark post, and you can create a dark post in Ads Manager or Power Editor. So the difference here is that a boosted post is going to show up it's a post that you create and you publish on your timeline on Facebook, and then you pay to promote to more people. So that's a boosted post. A dark post, which is something you'd create in Ads Manager or Power Editor, is a post that does not appear on your timeline, but is distributed out into the news feed of people that you select based on targeting. So the difference is one's going to appear on your timeline so everybody that's following you can see it, plus you're going to pay to promote it to more people, and the other is only going to be shown to a select audience based on targeting. Now, for the purpose of this training, we're going to talk about how to do boosted posts, because I think that's a little bit more of a beginner strategy. And on top of it, I think you want your audience to see the people that are following you to see your listings as well as everybody else. So that's why I am going to show you how to do a boosted post. But if you want to create a dark post, where that comes in handy is if you want to split test different types of ads, and if you don't want to like clutter up your own timeline with a bunch of advertisements, essentially. So if you're somebody who is like next level and you really want to up your advertising game and you have a larger budget, but you don't want to spam the people that are following you with a bunch of ads cluttering up your timeline, then definitely embrace Ads Manager and Power Editor. For the purpose of this video, we are going to dig into boosted posts, and then I'll show you Ads Manager just so you can kind of get a feel for it if that's something you want to use in the future. So let's flip this around. I'm sure you've had enough of my face, and I'm going to show you my screen, and let's create an ad together. So let me just flip this around. Okay, so I'm going to just confirm right now that you can see my Facebook page. Just want to make sure that the screen share function is working, because, again, technology it's not always my friend. Okay, so let's see, make sure that the screen share is working. You're going to need a Facebook. Okay, so you should be seeing my screen right now. This is just a fake account that I created to show you guys how to go about creating an ad for your listing. So here's how I like to do this. So I have some copy that I've already saved, and feel free to borrow this and just make whatever changes you want, but I've just already basically typed up this copy that has to do with the listing. And now I'm going to go to my Facebook page, and I'm going to start by just creating a simple post. So you'll see I have some copy here. It says just listed, and this particular property is on 1 acre. So I put dreaming of horse property in the coveted Dorado Hills location. We have the home for you. We just put, and then the address on the market for sale. Check out this stunning 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath on 1 acre. Okay, so this is the part that's important. So it says, for more details or to arrange a private showing, please call, my name. So that would be you and your phone number, or tag a friend who's looking to buy in this or sell in this area. So this part is key because you really want to encourage engagement. You want people to tag their friends, tag their family. That's going to help with your organic reach, and it's going to help with the engagement. So this is our copy. Looking good. Now I'm structuring it in this way because I am assuming that not everybody has a website. So if you have a website, you might consider sending people to your website where they can view more pictures of the listing. But if you don't have a website, this is a great way for you to start promoting your listings without having to have a website or a place where you're sending people to view your listings. So again, if you are a little bit more advanced with your marketing strategy, if you've got a beautiful website that features your listings, you might consider sending them there instead. But for this This training, we're just going to keep them on Facebook, and our call to action, you always want to have a call to action, but our call to action is going to be to call you or tag a friend who, you know, is looking to buy or sell in this area, or who this might be the perfect house for them. So we've got our copy there. Now we need to click this little button down here because we are going to add an image. If you have a video, like a video tour of the property, definitely add the video. Video does amazing on Facebook, but I'm going to assume that not everybody has a video. So we're going to add this graphic that we created in Canva. So Canva is a great tool. If you are not using it yet, it's a free tool that's going to allow you to create these really nice branded images for your social media posts. So if you haven't, I would highly recommend that you create. I'll show you what Canva looks like. I'll just show you so you can see it. So it's canva.com. You'll see that I have a bunch of different designs here, but essentially you can go in and create any type of design you want, and it just kind of keeps it nice and branded and clean and polished. So Canva, check that out if you haven't yet. So we've got our image uploaded. We've got our copy here. We've got a call to action. Check, check, check. All that's good. Then we're going to hit publish. So once you publish it, it is now going to be posted on to your Facebook page. So this is what it looks like. It says just listed. We've got all the details. Looks nice. We've got some nice images, logo. You know, basically looks real professional and polished. So this now is on your Facebook page, but we want more people to see it, right? Because like we said, Facebook doesn't really show our posts to hardly anybody on our business page. So we're going to pay to boost this post. So we're going to click this button, boost post. And this box is going to open up. So this is where you're going to select who you show it to, your budget, the ad account, all of that great information. So you'll see a preview of the ad over here on the right-hand side. That is how it's going to appear in the newsfeed of different people's Facebook accounts. You'll see right here, it'll say sponsored. You can also view the mobile. It's always a good practice to view it on mobile just to make sure that everything looks nice. You also want to make sure if you do view it on mobile that you don't have any like super important information getting cut off. You might want to consider shortening it if that's the case. Okay, so let's talk about what we should do with this ad. So if you are sending people off of Facebook to a website where they can view more images of your listing. So like I said, if you're one of those people that has a great website that you want to send people to increase traffic on your website and try to convert that person into a lead on your website, you would select a button where they can either learn more. That would probably be the call to action I would select, is learn more. And when you click that, it's going to prompt you to enter a URL. So that is where you would add a URL to your website, to the page where they can view the listing. Now, like I mentioned, we're not going to assume that you have a website. So we're going to leave this as a no button, meaning we're not sending them off of Facebook. You'll also see they have this like page over here, so that's nice because even though our objective with this ad is not to get likes on our page, you will sometimes get like residual likes because that little button is going to appear with your ad. So now let's talk about targeting. So targeting is super important, and it's definitely something that I recommend everybody experiments with and tests because, you know, it's different for every person and every company. For the purpose of this ad, obviously our goal is to reach people in a select location. So we want to be really pretty specific, I would say, with our actual targeting on this ad. So how you would adjust this, because it's going to automatically have this default, you know, targeting, which that's not what we want. That's way too broad. So you're going to hit edit, and it's going to open another box, and here is where we can really start to get into the fun stuff. So I'm gonna say, for the purpose of this ad, where I would have you all start is men and women, unless you want to select women, because I read a statistic recently that said that women influence like 80-something% or something like that of home purchasing decisions. So maybe you want to just select women or test women versus men. But for most of us, I would say let's start with both men and women. And then I would adjust this age range depending on the property. So if this particular house is a, over $800,000 house, I don't think anybody 18 years old is going to be buying an $800,000 house. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I know I couldn't afford that when I was 18. I still can't afford it. So I'm going to suggest you would adjust this to maybe 35 to 60. I think that's a pretty good age range. And let's talk about geo-targeting. So how are we going to target by location? So there's a couple of ways you can target by location. You can type in your zip code. You can see you can type in all the different zip codes that you serve. So that's one option. You can type in the city. So I could type in Salt Lake. And I could choose to target people within 25 miles of Salt Lake. Or if you want to get really specific, if this is a very specific location and neighborhood and you just want to target that neighborhood, you can even type the address. So let's go back to our address and copy that over. So say you want to target people with a specific message in just in this neighborhood. You should be able to, so you'll see now it's pulled up this actual address that this home is on. So the exact address of the home, and you can choose to adjust the radius. So you can target people within 1 mile of that street. So that's obviously super, super specific. Or you can, broaden that out to maybe 10 or 15 miles. Let's do 15 miles and see if that works. Okay, so obviously, again, we're getting really specific with this. And the cool thing about being super specific is you don't have to spend as much money. So you're not trying to reach as many people. Your audience selection of the pool is going to be a lot smaller. So you're obviously not having to spend as much because you're not trying to reach 10,000 people. You're trying to reach maybe 5,000 people or 2,000 people or less. So that is how I would suggest you do your location targeting. If you want to reach more people, then I would end up canceling out of that and doing, let's do just Dorado Hills, because that's where this home is. And I would do 25 miles. So that's a little bit broader. So now let's talk about demographics. So what are demographics? Demographics are basically information that Facebook has gathered based on their users' buying habits, purchasing habits, how they update their profile, and it creates and pools all of this big data that we get to harness in our advertising to get in front of the right people. So one of my favorite demographics to add is, if I could spell, is likely to move. So you can actually select people who Facebook has a residential profile on that they are likely to move. And actually, let me back up real quick. I forgot to tell you guys something else about location targeting. So you actually need to make sure that when you're selecting this, maybe it doesn't let us do it on a boosted post. So when you're creating an ad in Ads Manager and you're selecting this option, this location option, it's going to give you the option to select only people who live in this area. Make sure that you select that. It doesn't look like it's letting me do that on a boosted post, but in Ads Manager, when you create your ad, it will let you do that. And just make sure that you are selecting that, because otherwise it's going to pull in people who are visiting the area that don't necessarily live there. So we want to make sure that obviously we're targeting the people who live in the city, not who are just passing by. But I guess it doesn't let you do that on your boosted posts. But make sure you do select that if you create your ad in Ads Manager. Okay, back to behavior and residential profiles. So another thing you can add, if you have an expensive property that you know only a certain income bracket is going to qualify for, you can actually go to down here to demographics and financial, and you can go down to income, and you can select people in a certain income bracket. So say you're, like I mentioned, this is a $800,000 home. Somebody who's making $30,000 a year is not going to qualify for it. So, and I know that. So let's select the income brackets that would potentially qualify. So that's where you would go down here. Oops, I keep unselecting it. And you would select, basically I'm just picking everybody that's over $100,000 a year. Okay, so now we have people who are likely to move who make over $100,000 a year. And oops, actually, I did that wrong. Sorry. So instead of just selecting the likely to move with the income bracket, you need to actually go down here and hit narrow audience. So if I selected those two things together, Facebook's going to show our ad to people who are likely to move and people who fall into that income bracket. Now, we don't want to do that because that is going to be, we don't want to just target people who make a certain amount of money in a certain area. So in order to narrow the audience, we would select people who are likely to move, and we would narrow the audience, and meaning that they are likely to move and they make X amount of money. So hopefully that makes sense to you. But essentially we are honing in on the group of people we're trying to reach instead of broadening it by adding more characteristics. So hopefully that makes sense. If not, ask me a question and I'll find a better way to clarify that. But so again, we're going to just select these different income brackets. Okay, so now we have people who are likely to move that make over 100,000. So Facebook is telling me right now my audience is too specific. So that will sometimes happen, meaning that we've just narrowed it so much to the point where there's not a big enough pool of people to show the ad to based on the location, the likely to move, and all these different income qualifications. So in that case, you have two choices. You can either widen your radius to reach people in a larger location, or you can maybe consider eliminating the income. So I'm going to just widen the radius a little bit and add Sacramento, and maybe we just add a little bit more. Hopefully this will help widen it enough, or maybe we just need to bring this out. Come on, you're killing me here. So this does happen quite a bit. But you can wait till you get this number to something you're comfortable with. So I'm cool with potentially reaching about 4,000 people. So that's fine. This is just Facebook's recommendation that you should make it broader. So you can kind of play with that and go back and forward if you wanted to. You could, like I said, you could remove this and hopefully that would help. That helps bring it up to 12,000. So I don't think, it depends on what your goals are, but I don't think 12,000 people, I'm cool with reaching 12,000 people. I don't think that's too specific. So once you kind of are happy with your targeting, you can go down to budget and you would add whatever you want your budget to be. So if you're only trying to reach 12,000, 3,000 people, obviously you don't need a huge budget. I would recommend starting anywhere from $10 to $30 per boosted posts. So if you want to select 20, you can. If you want to change this to 30, you can do that. Or if you want to change it to 10, whatever you want to spend. And then this is going to estimate how many people you'll reach for that spend. So it's saying between 560 and 1,500 people. So say that's too little, we want to reach more, we would go ahead and up the budget. That's not always, this number right here is not always super accurate, just so you know. But you'll just kind of need to play with this and determine how much money you are willing to spend and kind of what results you're hoping to get from it. So now that we've got our budget in place, we want to spend $20. We've got our audience that Facebook is still telling us is too specific. You want to make sure you're selecting the appropriate advertising account. So if you don't have an advertising account, it's not going to, this is where it's going to stop you because it's not going to populate anything here. So make sure that you have an advertising account set up and that you have an active form of payment associated with it. So once you have all this in place, everything looks good, you would hit this boost button. I'm not going to hit it because I don't want to, this is not a real ad, this is just one that I created for an example. But you would hit boost, and what that's going to do is it's going to, I forgot to tell you duration. Okay, so this under duration, this is where you're going to select how many days you want your ad to run. So if you're only spending $20, I would not run your ad for more than like a week. Another thing you can do in Ads Manager, you can't do it in a boosted post, but if you do create an ad in Ads Manager, instead of creating a total budget, you can create a daily budget. So you could do something like, $2 a day for a month or something like that, or until you turn off the ad. So that is another option that I'm going to show you in a minute when we get into Ads Manager. So this is how you would create your boosted post. You would, again, click the blue button down here, boost, and your ad will be live, and you will get a message from Facebook once your ad is live, just letting you know your ad has been approved. One bit of advice when you're creating ads for Facebook, you want to make sure that you have less than 20% text on your image. So this is okay. This image is fine, but if it has more than 20% of the image is text, it's not going to show your ad. And if you're not sure, like if you're teetering the 20 to 30% mark, there is a place you can go. It's called Facebook Grid Tool. And I'm going to pull that up for you. You can go to this link and upload your image. Oops, that's not the right link. Oh wait, yeah it is. Okay, so you can go here, image text check. You can upload your image, and it'll have you do this little test that will let you know if your image is going to be approved or if you need to limit some of the text. So actually this one is telling me that it's there's too much text, but I've already tested this image, so I know that it's fine. But you just want to make sure when you are selecting an image that you get this green check mark. So you'll see, like, if I pick a different one, see if I have a different one on here. Okay, so like this one doesn't have any text on it, so it should get approved. And the reason why Facebook does this is because they feel that the images with a bunch of promotional text on them typically don't perform as well and also come off as a little spammy. So that's why they reward people who create or use images that are not covered in text. So I will see if I can include this link below this YouTube video so that if you guys want to go and check your image, you can go ahead and do that and make sure that you're good to go. It's just a good kind of best practice, if you will, just to make sure that you're not limiting your reach or your ads aren't getting disapproved. Okay, so that is essentially how you would boost your listing, promote your listing on Facebook. I'm going to cancel this promotion. This also works, like I mentioned, for open houses. So an example of that, see, yeah, I don't have an example ready for you, but you would just essentially change this image and it would say open house. It would have the address, date, and time, and you would obviously change this to different text. I will say, so you guys can feel free to borrow this copy if you want, but I would suggest that you personalize it as much as you can for each property. Try to say something unique on why people should check out this property, or talk about a specific feature that you really love about the property, because the idea here is to kind of tell a story about what somebody's life would be like in that home, because that's what's going to kind of captivate somebody's attention and make them start to think about it. So, and make them essentially read on and get interested. So obviously we have just listed, so people know it's listed, but then, you know, we have this little bit of text that says dreaming of horse property in the coveted Dorado Hills location. So immediately we're setting the tone of like the type of lifestyle this home is going to give you. So I think that that's important, not just slapping, you know, some information out there like, here's the home, here's the information, but really think about how you can kind of paint this picture of what somebody's lifestyle would be like in this home, because that's going to really get their imagination going, get them more engaged, and start to thinking about you and your property. And it's just more personal and more interesting than just saying like, oh, here's the home, here's the price, here's the location. I would also say experiment with adding the price and not adding the price. So sometimes I like to not add the price intentionally, because I want people to reach out to me on Facebook and message me for more information. Because once that person takes that next step to engage with me, then that gives me the opportunity to take the conversation offline. Versus if they have all the information and they're like, meh, I don't need to contact this person, I already know what it's all about. So sometimes holding back a little bit of information can help you make that connection with someone. And that's happened time and time again. I've left, you know, I ran this ad actually for a client, and we left the price off, and she got several private messages on Facebook about the property, which was great, because once somebody messages your business page on Facebook, then you have the ability to message that person back. So you can't just send a message to whoever you want from your business page on using Messenger, like how you can with a personal account. But once somebody does engage you, then you're free to message them back as much as you want. So that's obviously, again, a great way to kind of go deeper with someone than just showing them a post. Now you're actually having a conversation with them that you can hopefully eventually, like I said, take offline, either by getting them on the phone or getting them to come in for private showing, something like that. So that is how I would do a boosted post if you are to promote your listing, if you're just getting started on Facebook ads. Now let's look at, I said I was going to show you Ads Manager. So let me go back to my other Facebook account so that I can show you Ads Manager. Happy birthday, Vance. So when you log into Ads Manager, you're going to want to click the account. You probably only have one account unless you're managing Facebook ads for several different businesses. But this is what Ads Manager looks like. So this is what I was talking about earlier when you're creating a dark post, meaning that it's going to show up on your actual Facebook page, but is going to be distributed into the news feed. So this is kind of just a preview of what that looks like. If you were to create an ad here, you would hit this little button right here, create an ad. And it's going to walk you through the process of, so I'm going to say start over. It's trying to get me to create an ad that I already, work on an ad I already created, but this is where you'll be taken to create your ad in Ads Manager. And it's a little bit more complicated and complex because you're going to have to choose your marketing objective. So you're going to have to choose, you know, what you want people to do. So you're going to need to have clarity on whether you're sending people to your website or you're just trying to do brand awareness. So if you're sending people to your website, you would choose traffic or conversions if you have your Facebook pixel set up. If you're just trying to get eyeballs on your post or the ad that you're creating, you might consider choosing brand awareness or reach. But let's say you want to send them to your website, you would click traffic. You would create a name. So I'm just putting, you know, let's put just listed. And then the address, and then you hit continue. And so you'll see here, it's going to ask you where you want to send traffic. We'd want to send it to our website, so we'd keep that selected. We're not adding a discount because that's not what we're about. You can, the nice thing about Ads Manager, which actually you can do with your boosted posts as well, but is you can use a saved audience if you want. So if you have audiences that you've saved that you know work well for you, you know, make sure you save that audience so that you can continue to use it. But let's say we wanted to create a new audience. We'll say like, actually, we're not going to name this right now. So we would just go to, so this is what I was talking about, where you would select, you don't want to have everyone in this location selected. You want to put people who live in this location, because otherwise you're going to get people recently in this location and people traveling in this location, which we don't want. So that's what I was saying. You got to make sure you select people who live in this location. And we're going to unselect that, and we're going to choose Dorado Hills again. So essentially you'd go through and do, you know, the same thing that we did with our boosted posts, but you're just going to get more options when you create your ad in Ads Manager. And same thing with Power Editor. There's not really a ton of differences between, in my opinion, between Ads Manager and Power Editor. There used to be a lot of differences, but they've recently redone Ads Manager. And so now it's a lot more like Power Editor. So I wouldn't worry too much about using Power Editor unless you're a seasoned Facebook marketer and you like to use it. Like I like to use it sometimes just because I've used it for years and I like it. So again, we're choosing likely to move, and we can narrow the audience again and search that, browse for that income bracket, financial, under demographics. And we can select the income brackets we would like to reach. And so here we are selecting. Okay, so now we're specific. Boom. So specific's not bad. Don't think that just because Facebook is telling you your audience is specific, that means it's bad. They want you to spend more money and try to reach more people. So, you know, obviously you don't want it so specific that nobody's seeing it, but I would experiment with some different sized audiences. So do some that are a little bit more here in the green, and then do some that are a little bit more specific. So you can kind of split test and see what works best. So here you can choose to target people who like your page. You know, I would just leave these unchecked for now for this particular ad. We don't need to exclude people based on if they've liked your page or not. That would be more important if you were sending a specific invitation, you know, to like your page or something like that, where you wouldn't want to show it to people who already have liked your page. So you'll have the option to save this audience. You can give it a name. So say you want to save it as Dorado Hills, or, you know, whatever. You can save it as locals, whatever you want to save it or name it, you can. And then you'll be able to reuse this targeting again, so you won't have to like go through and create this every single time. So just make sure you're saving your audiences if they perform well for you. Okay, here's another important thing when it comes to targeting in Ads Manager. Don't just keep the automatic placements selected. You want to edit your placements, because automatically it's going to show it to, like, for example, a lot of times it'll put, depending on the type of post, right column. Like, I'm not a big fan of right column ads. Those are the little ads that you see on the right column of Facebook. I don't think they get a lot of engagement, so I always unselect right column. I leave instant articles and news feeds. And then depending on if you have Instagram hooked up or if you want to run ads to Instagram, you may want to leave this checked or uncheck it. I like to run my Instagram ads separately, and I'll usually uncheck audience network. I like to run my Instagram ads separately because it allows me to really separate the data from Facebook and Instagram and compare them without kind of having it jumbled together. And here is where you can, like I said, you can select a daily budget instead of a lifetime budget. So if you want to do $2 a day, you can set to run your ads continuously starting today, or you can set a start and an end date. If you're worried about forgetting to turn off your ads, that's when I would suggest doing a lifetime budget, meaning this is the lifetime spend of the ad. And then again, you'll want to make sure you're going down here and adjusting the start and stop time. So if you're only spending $30, like we mentioned, you're only going to probably want to run it for about a week, not a month. So that's where you would adjust those numbers, as well as, and then down here, we've got optimization for ad delivery. I usually go with the default, what's recommended by Facebook. I usually go with the automatic bid option, and I like to run my ads on a schedule. So if you click this button, run ads on a schedule, you can select the time zone. So it's usually in your viewer's time zone, but when you want to show those ads. So obviously, like, I don't want to show ads at 3 or 5 in the morning, so I'm not going to select that. You would select, just using this little tool, like say you want to show them from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. or something like that, Monday through Friday or Monday through Sunday. So that's another good little advertising tip to kind of help with the performance of your ads. And once you move on from there, sorry, I'm spending more time here than I thought, but essentially once you move past this point, okay, apparently I have to either limit, okay. So sometimes Facebook will make you spend a certain amount of money based on how long you're showing your ad. I think the minimum spend, it might even be like $5 a day or something like that. So just make sure that you know, it won't let you progress any further if your budget is out of whack. So you just kind of have to either run your ad for less days or up your budget, depending on which one you want to do. So once you hit continue, you will be on to creating your ad. Hopefully I haven't lost you all yet. I know this has been really long training, but this is where you'll go through and you will actually select the type of ad you want to create. Again, if you have a video, that's awesome. Most people don't have video. I really like carousel ads, meaning you have multiple. Let me just change this real quick. First, you got to select the page you want it to come from. So carousel ad means you have multiple images with your ad, you can see here, and you would customize, you know, and so if this is a listing, you would go back here, copy this info, and if you had multiple images, you could share, you know, these different images of the kitchen and the backyard, and so people can kind of scroll through and see the best of the best images that you have before they click to your website. And again, you would just kind of, you would fill in all this information, the destination URL, where you're sending them, which would be to the page where they can view your listing, the call to action. We said we would keep it learn more, or, you know, see what else we got here. Shop now if you want them. Most people probably don't associate shop now with a home, but you could experiment with that with these different calls to action. So that, my friends, is how you would create your ad in Ads Manager. Like you can see, you have a lot more options. There's even this new option, feature a collection of items that open into a full screen mobile experience. So that's new. I haven't seen that or tried that yet, but you have a lot more options when you're creating in Ads Manager. Okay, so let me just stop my screen share. I'm back. So it looks like still some of you guys are with me. Hopefully you found that presentation helpful. I'm not seeing, if you guys have questions, feel free to answer or ask them now. Like I mentioned, I'm new to this platform, so I'm not seeing any questions pop up in the box right now. But put them in the comments. This video will be on YouTube, so feel free to write any questions that you have in the comments on YouTube, and I will make sure that I go through and I answer every single question. I also wanted to let you guys know that if you felt like some of this was just like pew, way over your head, and you're like, I don't really know how, you know, hopefully that boosted post will get you started. But if you still feel like you want additional guidance and you're like, I need help getting started or launching my first ad campaign, please reach out to me. My email is K-A-T at copycatconsulting.com. I'll also put that in the comments of this video. Or you can go to my website, copycatconsulting.com. I do have a service that I offer, two services actually. One is social media coaching. So that's where we work together on a monthly basis on your ad campaigns. And I give you guidance on what to do with specific campaigns, and we, based on whatever your objective is, whether it's lead generation or brand awareness, we come up with some different campaigns to help you achieve your goals with your social media ads. So that is an option that I do have, which is social media coaching. And then I also have another option, which is kind of more of a one-off option for people who don't want ongoing coaching, but they just need a little bit of guidance now. And that is a Facebook page or Facebook ad audit, where I go through your Facebook ads and I do kind of an evaluation of everything that you've done, and I offer suggestions on how to improve your return on investment, so that you can, obviously the goal being spend less and get more results. So if that is something that you guys are interested in, that you feel like would be a wise investment for you and your business, just to kind of, instead of having to go it alone and be guessing like if what you're doing is working or not, I would be happy to assist you in that manner. So like I said, go to my website, copycatconsulting.com, or just email me. I would love to talk to you more about those options and get you guys going. I hope you found this presentation helpful. Like I mentioned, it will be live on Facebook. So if you want to come back and visit it when you're creating your ads and kind of go through the process with me, feel free to do that, or share it with anybody that you know. Say you work in an office and you've got other agents that are struggling with Facebook ads and they need a little bit of help on how to get started with creating their ads. Again, feel free to share this link with them. I would love and hope that they would find this helpful as well. Looking forward to your feedback in the comments. Let me know if you found this helpful. I'm thinking about doing more of these training videos if you guys want them and if you guys feel like they're going to help you progress. So let me know, and I will talk to you guys soon. That's what I have for you today. Enjoy the rest of your week, and 4th of July is coming up, so have a safe and amazing 4th. I will talk to you guys later.